Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of our podcast. And today is my absolute pleasure to have Jayson Webb as a guest. Jayson Webb is the founder of Telsa Media, a full service marketing agency working with clients all the way from the web design all to the SEO and traffic acquisition system, right?
Yep,
Awesome. So, Jason, want to give us a quick intro about you and the business?
sure. So Telsa Media was founded in 2015. I came out of a large company, American global digital marketing company that had offices all around the world. I had a life moment where my missus had twins. We had twin boys. I wanted to spend some more time with them. I thought maybe starting my own business might be a way to make that happen. Turned out to be a little bit harder than just saying it.
Hmm.
But that's basically where we started nearly 10 years ago, 10 years in August next year.
Starting an agency from scratch and switching from a well-paying job, how difficult was that for you? And did you actually have like any paying clients on the business side, on the agency side when you made the switch, or you were starting from scratch and from zero?
No, actually, when I left the company that I worked for, I didn't take any clients with me. I thought, that it would be because we had campaign managers. I was in a sales role, so the people that were managing the accounts sort of had the more of the relationship with them. And when I started on my own, I was earning a lot of money where I was working, and I
Hmm.
thought I had the ability to just replace that instantly. But it actually took me over a year to replace that income, and I did have some worrying moments that maybe I'd made the wrong decision, but come good in the end.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like these like self-belief limitations are the hardest part of the whole business side to overcome and achieve great success. So, how difficult was that for you to overcome these self-belief
Yeah.
limitations, or like thinking that maybe this is not the right choice?
Yeah. Do you know what? Actually, I think the hardest thing is being good at one thing, and mine is sales, from transitioning into running a whole business in terms of operations, in terms of the accounting, all of those skills you believe at the
Hmm.
time that you probably got handled, but actually you realize quite quickly when you're accountable for, you know, tax bills and paying staff and making sure the revenue is there is actually something that you need to learn about. And I probably didn't focus my time on learning those parts of the business. So it was a challenge. Yeah, I had to learn how to run a business, even though in the past I have actually run businesses.
Hmm.
Running a digital marketing company was a new set of skills.
And like going in terms of the picking the niche and the services that you provide for your agency, how did that come to you? Was it something that you like utilized from your previous experiences and the industry that you worked in the past, or how did you go about it, picking your niche?
The main thing for our particular business is one of the sort of weak points I noticed when I was working for a global digital marketing company was that they couldn't offer a full service. There was various different things that we outsourced, and it was one of our sort of bone of contentions as salespeople that the quality of those outsourced parts were not as good. So I sort of made a
Hmm.
decision that I would handle the whole thing, hence being a full service agency. And I think we can
Yeah.
maintain the quality standards doing it all ourselves.
Hmm. Perfect. And now, how do you like usually spend your day as the founder of the agency, and like what are your main responsibilities that you have to take care of?
Yeah. Like obviously now 10 years later, I've got my ops manager who takes care of all the strategic operations of the business. He deals with the other offices in India and stuff, and the individual staff in those places. Here we have managers and account managers, and the same in India, heads of departments and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So I tend to mainly deal with Vivek, who's my operations manager here in the business. and some of the key clients. I don't really have much hands-on in the operations in terms of the end-to-end process. I'm normally still involved in mainly sales and customer liaison.
Hmm. And how hard was it for you to have someone in the operation job position doing so well that maybe you don't have to deal on a day-to-day basis and have a hands-on responsibilities to such projects? Like in general, how hard is it for you, like 10 years later, to attract maybe
Yeah.
and retain like A+ team members?
Yeah, there's 42 staff in total in the organisation.
Hmm.
Having those heads of departments makes a big difference. Having a good, strong relationship with them. Um, I read a great book, which any of your listeners might want to get. It's called The E-Myth by a guy called Michael Gerber, and it's about creating systems within a business that you perfect. Each system, even
Hmm.
making a cup of tea for clients, can be systemized. And that makes everything run very smoothly. So we tend to design the systems, practice whether those systems are good, and refine them over time. So the main objective is really about working out really good systems, whether it be for delivering a website for someone, or whether it be delivering a great campaign for a social media ad. Really systemizing the approach and making sure everyone knows how to run that system is the key. We've pretty much got a manual defined for every process within the business.
Hmm. And like how long does it usually take for you and the agency to, from the process when you sign a client to actually launching the campaign? So how quick is that onboarding process, and how important do you think the onboarding process is in every
Yeah,
agency?
it's a really good point, actually. I think some people maybe rush to get the money before they offer the
Yeah,
service. We
exactly.
spend a lot of time planning. We spend a lot of time actually looking at their competitors. So anyone that is maybe above that company in terms of their results and maybe what they're achieving. Any sort of like business that we deal with tends to know who their competitors are or who they aspire to be. So we spend a lot of time studying them in detail. The beauty of the internet is you've got some great analytical tools that you can use. We've got lots of manpower, so we can spend some time doing that. And what we try to do is try to teach the business something they don't know about their competitors, something they may not even know about themselves. Could be some bad reviews, could be some product that they could be selling that they're not. We normally try to add value through that method, really.
Hmm. Yeah, makes sense, absolutely. And now, like 10 years later, I'm sure like Tesla has grown exponentially. So, up to now, what has been your best record-breaking month in terms of revenue?
Yeah, I think we've had some pretty stonking months and we've had some pretty bad months. Let's
Yeah.
talk about the best one. I think we've probably done about £250,000, maybe more, in a month.
Hmm.
I can look back. I think actually during the pandemic we had some really good growth. I think,
Really?
yeah, I know that's contrary to what a lot of people had, but I think what happened during the pandemic was a lot of people thought, oh shit, the world is now going to live in a digital sense. We're all going to be on Zoom calls. We're all
Yeah.
going to need a website. We're all going to have to do our shopping online. And therefore, how long is this going to continue? I better get my business in order and put it into some digital sense. So we found that the inquiries were untold, and we never closed down. We didn't furlough our staff. We continued to work, obviously remotely, but we had some stonking months. But I think the best we've done is maybe 250,000 in a month. Yeah,
Mm. Now, I want to
pounds.
get back to the pandemic situation. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
pounds makes sense. Now, I want to get back to the pandemic situation. Now you mentioned that you still, even in the pandemic like phase, you were still 42 in staff, right?
yeah.
And but you were not like in office. You were all remote, right?
Yeah, we have an office in India with the majority of our staff. Some of the rules that were not happening in Europe were happening in India, and vice versa. So India tend to get the coronavirus a little bit later than us. So
Yeah.
we maintained a full service office before they had to lock down. But when they got locked down, it was very strict, and those lockdowns meant that everyone had to work from home. So that was a little bit of strategic planning, equipment, security, all of that sort of stuff. But we managed it, and we enjoyed it. Actually, we did enjoy having that
Hmm.
ability to mobilize.
Perfect. Now, I feel like having, this whole chaotic pandemic situation, and that's exactly you're one of the best record-breaking months. You're doing over £250,000 in pounds. How difficult was that for you, since the staff was remote, and like also, because having record-breaking months in terms of revenue, obviously comes with a lot of good side, but
Yeah,
it also have some of the like not disadvantages, but the dark side of
yeah,
it, where you have like more stress, more responsibilities,
yeah,
unexpected growth, and
yeah,
like maybe even having to hire more staff or more team
yeah.
members. So how
Well,
hard for you to
all
handle
of
that
those
situation?
things, the odd sleepless night, the odd, how are we going to actually do this? Um,
Yeah.
I think adversity, when you look at it in the sense of, I suppose, opportunity, then you see the pound signs. You're like, oh God, look at all this, you know.
Makes sense.
But when you look at actually now you've got to do the work, I actually come from a couple of different backgrounds in business, and one of the backgrounds I come from was manufacturing, and I actually went out. I was involved in a double glazing business selling windows, and I went out and
Hmm.
I sold a job for £500,000, but the factory that was supplying me couldn't handle the job, and it
Yeah.
caused untold problems. And actually, the factory ended up having to put the staff on a 24-hour turnover of shift and 7 days a week,
Hmm.
and it was hectic. So, in the same sense, it's okay operationally to handle a certain amount of work, but when all of a sudden there's a lot of sales, you need to deliver, and you don't want the quality to lack. So we was lucky. Couple of those that big month was made up of a couple of exceptionally big orders, which were slightly longer burners.
Hmm.
So those sort of things help. But if it was made up of, say, 100 orders, that could have caused big problems. I think sometimes in business it's good to say no rather than yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like, yeah, you sure. Maybe sometimes declining a couple of figures, a couple of projects may attract some more. But yeah, I'm really agreeing with you on this now.
yeah,
Now, almost 10 years since launching the agency.
yeah,
Right now, where is Telsa? Like, what are you guys offering? Are you looking to
yeah.
expand into other markets? Like any like upcoming exciting projects at all?
Yeah, major projects actually. I mean, we're working with some fantastic businesses that we're building platforms like learning management systems from scratch. We've got our own software product, which you can see the branding behind me
Mm-hmm.
now. It actually says Telegus. This is a business management and marketing software similar to HubSpot. We built it for ourselves to help us manage our clients, and then as we was collaborating with our clients using that product, they was like, "Hey, what's this?" And we realized actually we've
They
got a
enjoyed it.
product. Yeah, and they enjoyed
Yeah.
it, and we then started selling that as a product, and that's doing very well. It's a separate business, but that's really exciting for us. We're really getting some traction with that now. We're working with some really, really great people, aggressive businesses that are expanding exponentially, and they're taking us with them. So we're signing new contracts, we're making new agreements. Some of the things that we're proud of is that we've taken at least 5 businesses now to exit from zero.
Hmm.
Startups to multiple
Wow.
£1 million exits. And that is really, really something to be proud of when you meet a business
Super
that's just
impressive.
started and then they exit. Some of those things have been financially worth it, and some of them have actually lost us money, because obviously if someone exits and the people that
Yeah.
buy them don't then hire you, you end up
Yeah.
losing that revenue. So
Losing
we've
money.
made that mistake as well.
Hmm.
So we just enjoy doing what we do. I mean, we very regularly do I get approached about, are you interested in selling the business? Can we maybe invest some money? I'm not really interested because I'm enjoying it too much. Why would you sell something that you enjoy?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like right now, you're working with only the local clients and businesses in the UK, or you also
No.
expanded like it?
Yeah. We majority of our clients, probably I say 80% are in the UK.
Hmm.
Um, but we tend to work in English speaking countries. So America, we've got clients, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and those markets are expanding for us as well, because obviously as those clients get amongst their own business community, they start sharing, oh, I'm using this firm in England, who happen to have offices in India, and we have a small sales office in Dubai as well.
Hmm.
So, we've got spread on various different time zones, which is attractive to a lot of people for lots of reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it makes sense totally. And now since we are like by the end of the year, I want to know like how was 2024 for you and the agency in terms of like the maybe revenue goals? Did you crush
Mm.
them? Like, did you actually meet all of your company goals and agency goals?
Yeah.
How was that, and what do you expect actually from 2025?
Actually, we did meet all of our revenue goals, and we learned something very, very well. I personally learned something, because I think the managing directors and the leaders of businesses should be working on themselves. And something I learned about myself was that actually you can't know it all. Like you go
Yeah,
through periods of arrogancy where you think, I've sussed this. This is it. I've got
I'll
it
know it
sorted.
all.
I know it all, like I can just
Yeah,
keep replicating that. And actually what I realized was that is to take the company maybe to 5 and 10 million and beyond, I need to let go of what I know. And,
yeah,
I've actually realized that I need to let go of some clients. So that's what we're doing. So 2025 for us will be painful for some people, because they might enjoy working with us, but we might have to somehow find them a
let
new
them go.
partner, because we're going to be saying goodbye to some people to expel our energies in an area of business that we love, which is more the complex web development stuff, the apps, the software, all of that sort of stuff. And we still spend a lot of our energies on running campaigns, but we really want to do that at more a commercial level than the small stuff.
Hmm. Yeah. What would you say would be like the best or the main metrics that you're trying to improve maybe in the agency in the 2025? Is it like in total like more qualified or bigger clients, or like
Yeah.
increasing the pipeline growth, hiring more staff, including more services?
The key thing for us is to carry on with our sort of mission in
Hmm.
finding businesses that are wanting to expand into the internet and to get a lot of business from the internet. And that involves working with an agency that wakes up in the morning thinking about their business and what they need. And we have made a success of doing that. We live, breathe, and think their business, sometimes more than the business owners themselves,
Absolutely.
because that a relationship, creating a sticky client, comes from adding value. So we need more of those sort of businesses. It takes just as much energy to have a conversation with someone who's spending £500 a month than if someone's spending 500,000 a month. And sometimes less pain with the person that's got a team of people that are handling that budget for 500,000. And we've
Absolutely.
realised that, although we love the people that are trying their best and they've got £500 to spend, they're no longer fit our business model. So we have to let those people get and find a new supplier, and we need to start speaking to bigger businesses that appreciate
Bigger
our
businesses.
skills. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. And now, being like almost 10 years in the market in the agency space, and I feel like the agency space is a very saturated market in the space, like
Yeah.
too many competition and everything. I want to know your opinion, and how did you manage to overcome such a saturated market? What would you say was something that differentiated your agency that to make sure that you actually survive in a very, very saturated market.
Yeah. It really is all about adding value. Yeah. There are some amazing agencies out there who have got their secret recipe, just like, KFC chicken and McDonald's, maybe those sort of leading chains of of supermarkets that have got a success recipe. We seem to have one, and that is, as I said previously, is looking at the competitors of the businesses that we're working with, finding out in very fine detail what those other businesses are up to, and even when we even find the information that their competitors are doing, we might find other things that even that business could be doing. I suppose forensic, sort of detailed information and adding value in a sense that we're not sticking ourselves on a pedestal. We can teach our businesses that we're working with how all of this sort of subject matter works. We're not using jargon, we're using plain English, and we're teaching the business exactly how this landscape fits together in a simple way, and that creates a strong relationship. And the relationship is more of a duplistic sort of like winning team, more than just like we're on a pedestal, we know more than you, and we're going to talk down to you,
Yeah.
and we're going to make out we know it all, and you're sort of like just paying us because we are the experts. Whereas, if you think about the best friends you've got in your life, sometimes you can just sit in a room and you're silent and you both know what each other's thinking. We know what the objectives of the businesses are, and we know that they're going through the same pains of, what, as we've highlighted today, when your business is growing, it's not just about celebrating and popping, glasses of champagne all over the place.
Champagne.
Sometimes it's sleepless nights, sometimes it's worry and anxiety, and that's the way it goes. But I think, having the manpower, having bodies of people, and particularly I would highlight the fact that we've got our offices in India, but it's not outsourced. They're our own offices, they're our own staff, they're managed by us, they work for us and no one else. Lots of other agencies that are based all around the world do outsource labour to India, but they've got no control over that business. That business is working for 10 other agencies or 500 other people, and the quality seems to lack when that happens. So everyone buys into the brand. I mean, everyone has such a great atmosphere in our work. I mean, today all the Christmas presents have been handed out in India. The same. Everyone is buying into the culture that the business is, which is hard work and fun, I would say, is at the core of what we do.
Yeah, so I just wanted to actually link here as well. So you mentioned the culture of the company. So what is it that you usually look for when hiring someone for your agency? What is like in terms of the culture, in terms of how they adapt to the agency? What is like the main thing that you're looking to when you're hiring for the Telsa?
Yeah. Look, I'm going to give you a quotation that I've learned decades ago, and it goes like this. It says, "It's not the strongest that survive or the most intelligent. It's the species most adaptable to change." That was Charles Darwin, I think.
Love that. Yeah.
And what that says to me is that if you're an individual, you're going to shine out. If you have an ability to let go of your beliefs and not stand on a place which is, I'm right about this and there's no other possible way that this could be.
No other option.
No other option. This is it for me. You're not part of this organization's culture. Our culture is, even the cleaner is just as equal as anyone in this organization, including myself. Everyone, even the cleaner, can give us an idea. Everyone can change into whatever they want to be. We just have to have a plan for that. We have to put that plan in place. If you want to be an amazing golfer, you can start tomorrow, learn golf, get a coach, work a plan, go out and play. Exactly the same in business. The business is really just doing things repeatedly well and sometimes failing, and learning to acknowledge that failure is just as an important part of success. Every day I put out a quotation of the day, and they're more about us all identifying with the truths of life. As I said in that quotation, you don't have to be the strongest, you don't have to be the most intelligent, but are you a person that has an ability to acknowledge that you're not perfect? Yeah, but you
Hmm.
want to strive to be perfect. It's the striver that I'm interested in, not the one who says I'm the bloody best and no one can tell me otherwise. I don't want them.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, so would you say that's one like company building belief that usually other companies do not follow or usually disagree with you on this one? Because I feel like other
Yeah,
agencies and the competition does completely the opposite that you're doing.
yeah. Yeah, because actually, I'm not interested if you've got 50 degrees in whatever. I'm not interested in your qualifications. I'm interested in some technical skills if you're a developer. It's no good saying, well, yeah, I know my way around the QWERTY keyboard. Um, there's some stuff you need to know, but I'm more interested in the actual person and what their ambitions are and where they sort of sit in the landscape of life. Lots of I suppose companies and who are hiring, they're just looking at CVs and they're going, oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
and they're not looking close enough at the ontology of the person, if you want to use the right word. And it's like more about the way of being rather than the doing. We are human beings. We're not human doings. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and we should be able to create amazing relationships because I'm at my office more than I'm with my wife. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I need
Yeah.
to have an amazing relationships with my staff. I would lay my life down for many, many people that I work with. Yeah. And I'm looking for those qualities. I'm not going to ask that in an interview. Okay, given the time, if someone comes running in with a gun, would you stand in front of a bullet for someone? I'm not going to ask that. But I'm
Yeah.
more about who is this person? What are they up for? Rather than, oh, I done an A level in computer coding and I've been to Harvard and that's
Yeah.
great. But
But
like,
robotic response.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And like throughout these whole years, like or like recently, what was like maybe a bad hire that maybe you did a bad hire, and how did that
Yeah.
impact the agency and the growth of it? Because
Well,
like at the end of the day, we can still fail sometimes. We
look,
still.
look, as we've all acknowledged, failure is just as part of success. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you would absolutely see failure everywhere in my organization. Yeah, including the hires. I had a fantastic salesperson who was Australian, and he lived here in the UK. He'd been here
Hmm.
16 years, and he all of a sudden met an Australian who wanted to go back to Australia, and
And we go back.
that went wrong. And then I met another salesperson who was English, who met an English girl who wanted to go and emigrate to Australia. I seem to have this affinity with people going off to Australia, but actually sometimes people are not cut out for
Hmm.
certain ways of being that exist in an organization like us. I mean, you can see, look, we've got a chessboard behind. We've got chessboard in every room.
Yeah.
We play chess. We play games at lunchtime. Some people just can't quite. We go out regularly to lunch with each other. We have a lot of fun. I mean, seriously, belly rolling, laughing fun. And for some reason, some people like to think work is really serious and all of that stuff, and that's not quite part of it. And we've had a couple of people come through that just can't
Hmm.
fit in, and I can't put my finger on what that is. It's normally something about us, nothing about them. It's normally something
Yeah.
where we've not provided an environment that is fully inclusive for them. Doesn't matter their race, doesn't matter their sexuality, doesn't matter any like that. But it's just something that they've just not felt comfortable, and therefore they've moved on. But that's not very often. We have a brilliant retention rate.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. And like, do you have any plans for expanding the team this year?
Well, listen, we make probably one hire a month. So anyone
Oh,
listening to this
really?
podcast, yeah, 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 we are always hiring.
Hmm.
We're always taking. When we've taken absolute novices right through to being, very, very skillful developers in this 10-year period. We're taking freshers and we're bringing them right the way through. So anyone listening to this who, wants to reach out and, maybe approach us, yeah, we're
Yeah,
always
absolutely
hiring.
great, huge
Yeah,
opportunity.
yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Now, I know like this whole 10 years have been, crazy with the ups and downs and everything. A lot of learnings, failures, wins, and everything. So, what would be like 3 to 5 things maybe that you would say to Jason 10 years ago before starting the agency?
Well, if it was 10 years ago, I would say, learn all the other factions of business before you start piling in doing selling, before you know that you can deliver on those things. I mean, I remember going out and blindly selling things that I didn't really know I could cover,
Yeah.
because I was, probably more addicted to getting the revenue replaced to fund my life, which was, I suppose, at the time quite normal. But I would say, get a good accountant. I've got a fantastic accountant now. I went through about 5. Get a good accountant. Is a really good thing. Keep records of everything. Like I've become an expert at keeping records of everything. Get a really good CRM. We built our own, but initially, one of the turning points is we was using some project management tools. We started to really be able to say to a client, your job's starting on the 1st September, will finish on the 22nd. And that's because we was collaborating all together. We had all the tasks broken down. Before that, it was a little bit, I think it's going to be ready about now. So,
Yeah.
having control of those things, that's what I would tell myself. How can you find out that? I think you've got to go through the experience of it and realize, actually, I need this. You might be trying to dig a hole in your garden to plant a tree. All of a sudden you think, hang on a minute, I need an excavator. There's no way I'm going through this ground.
Yeah.
I think self-realization is a great thing, but you only really know that when the thing is happening, but yeah, I'd love to have started my business 10 years before that. I feel I would perhaps be in a completely different stage in my life. But, I'm one of these people that everything that's ever happened to me, good, bad, and ugly, and I've had cancer, I've had a bad childhood, I've had all these things, they're all perfect. They're all perfect. Cancer was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Why would you say that?
Because it teaches you something about yourself that nothing at all can ever teach you until you have that experience. You really appreciate being alive when God, whoever you want to put in charge, tells you, right, you're possibly going to die in a couple of months. Yeah, it's possible. And there's nothing ever can replace that sensation of like, oh, wow, that actually is the end of my life.
That's like that oh shit moment.
It's the oh shit moment, like that. It's like, it doesn't matter whether it's a 10-foot guy in a bar with a big shotgun or something, but when you have that moment, it changes the perception of you and your life forever, and it makes your relationships better. So we're like, even in this conversation now, I'm enjoying telling you about my organization, but sharing something that will impact even you who's asking the questions. I want to leave you with something. And cancer enabled me to do that. Having cancer enabled me to share all of me, because I'm only here for a short amount of time, whether it's 47 years, 67 years, 87 years, or 5 years, like some poor children get cancer at that age.
Yeah.
I want to share everything, good, bad, ugly. And that's really a blessing, isn't it? If that can happen to me and I'm still here and can tell the story, that's a blessing. So that's why it's great.
Absolutely, absolutely. I really love your energy, and I'm really sorry that you had to go through that. I hope like things are like for
Don't
better
be sorry,
now.
it was good.
Absolutely. Yeah, nice. I really love your energy because I feel like it's hard like to keep your composure in such situations and keep going and keep pushing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean,
like
everything happens for a reason. The only thing that life teaches us is when we look back, we know the reasons. Yeah. It's like, you don't know it
absolutely.
at the time, but when you look back, if you look back on your life, what it was,
Yeah,
you
you
go,
see.
oh, I know
Oh,
why
now I
that
see.
happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I see.
absolutely. Yeah. Now, given your expertise and experience, I know like most of the things are now streamlined in the agency in terms of the process and systems. But what would you say is still maybe a frustration right now for you? Or maybe let's say if you had like a magic wand, what would be like number one thing you would solve in the business,
Yeah,
in the
I would,
agency?
I would solve people's hesitation to get involved in digital marketing. I'm
Yeah.
talking about businesses that are starting up that try all manner of things other than digital marketing. They might try leaflets, magazine advertising, they go on the radio, they join a business networking group. It's like, hang on, wake up, guys. The most successful businesses in the world are doing digital
Or
marketing.
digital.
Even
Yeah.
Tesla are selling their cars online. You pay for it,
Yeah.
you choose the color, and it turns up at your house. Wake up, smell the coffee. That's what you need to do. And I think that really is a trust issue. It's like there's so many people that are portraying our services and doing it in such a bad way. They give a bad name to all digital marketeers, and that's a bad thing. But it happens in lots of industries. Whether you're getting your
Yeah.
windows repaired or your roof repaired, there's all good, bad, and ugly with that. So I would want people to embrace digital marketing and and technology as the future. It's not going away. This is it, AI included.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I also wanted to get to the AI. So how do you see AI impacting the whole agency space, the digital marketing agency
Yeah,
space? How has AI impacted your agency? Are you
yeah.
like taking advantage of it? How are you utilizing AI at all?
It's I love it. I mean, look, let me give you. This is my analogy for AI when I talk to clients about it. I say, hey, just imagine 500 years ago when they wanted to build a house. Yeah, just let's say in Central Europe, you might find the odd person might have a saw. You might find they have an axe. But if you just imagine for a second that someone rocked up with a machine digger, like a JCB, and an electric saw, and all of the tools like cordless, and started using them to build a house, people would would travel from hundreds of miles to watch that person, and they would be in awe,
Absolutely.
and they probably might even burn them at the stake for being some sort of witch or something. Um, you know, AI is just a tool. It was invented by human beings for use for human beings.
Yep.
There's no more intelligence to it. It didn't invent itself. It's no more cleverer than a skill saw. It's something that we are in control of. We can control it. Maybe there'll be a stage when it's completely autonomous, but I don't see that because we invented the product, and I know enough about coding and stuff like that to realize what it's about. It's yes, it's a very clever tool. It's a model of language behavior and all of those sort of I suppose processes that we have put together. It's just a speedier way to get the job done, and we use it a lot. We've working with all the APIs on not just ChatGPT but lots of other tools,
Hmm.
and yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like the best thing that has happened like recently. Now, like being that AI is like a very hot trending right now, what I want to know like what are your best go-to resources for staying like up to date with the current market trends, the whole technology trend? Do you like recommend books, podcasts, or any go-to resources for you?
Yeah, I tend to use LinkedIn a lot. I like LinkedIn as a business resource. There's many experts on there that are sharing all sorts of useful things. Some of them resonate with me, some of them don't. Obviously, the internet, good old Google is a fantastic tool for narrowing down those
Yeah.
searches. So if I see something that someone's talking about, I might Google that, have a look at the website, see whether that tool, and then sharing that. There's a key component that a lot of people don't do. It's like it's no good me seeing something that I think is fantastic for my organization and not sharing it with my team, getting
Not
their
sharing. Yeah.
feedback and understanding from them whether that's actually going to be useful. And sometimes they come back and say, look, really, that's not a great tool for these reasons. Or actually, yeah, we love it. We're going to get a trial and we're going to do that.
Hmm. And what would you say would be like maybe three to five of like the best lessons, best wins that you had maybe this year in terms of whether that's in good results, good clients, good case studies, good hires, anything.
Sorry, say that again.
So like looking back to this year, what would you say would be the most proud things that you as the agency are in terms of, let's say, uh, client projects, case
Yeah.
studies, results that you have done for the clients?
I would say that actually every client that relies on us for something as simple as their phone ringing, lead generation, you know, that the impact of that, that they're able to run their business, get that revenue, take that profit out, pay for their family's food and light and heat, and and all of their staff can survive. That
Hmm.
is something to celebrate. The fact that we are doing digital marketing, which is placement of adverts and building websites and all of that sort of stuff, and we're able to drive an economy for many hundreds of people. I mean, we've got about 450 clients. You imagine if you look at the manpower that's out there and the people that are surviving off of just of our efforts. I think it's something massively to be proud of. And yes, we work with some businesses that are multiple millions of turnover. But I think even just a guy that started up his business yesterday and has his first phone call in a week, it's just I'm punching the air for them. Really, honestly, that
Yeah,
lights me
yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
when something like, and they ring you and they're so excited. Oh my God, I got an inquiry and I'm going to go and do a quotation. I'm like that. That's more important than some big corporation who's doing 100 million already. You know, you never hear from them, and we do have clients like that.
I feel like also when you have like such clients, like just starting out, it also reminds you like back in the day, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, everything is something to celebrate. Like there's the mundane things, but like I say, I think certainly seeing businesses evolve and grow, and hire new staff themselves, and maybe go on a better holiday this year, and maybe buy a better car. I see those things because I connect with them on the social basis, and I see their social media and stuff, and I think, well, this is amazing. Only 3 years ago they were working for someone and didn't have any money, and look at this now.
Mm.
So that I
Yeah.
love that.
Fantastic. So, like speaking in terms of like the lead generation stuff for the agency, do you do that in house? Do you have like a team for that as well?
Yeah, yeah. We can pretty much cover every discipline. We've even got our own full-time photographer and videographer. We have lots of our own equipment. All of the disciplines. I mean, lead generation, obviously, as you know, is about content marketing and all of those other things, whether it be a search campaign or not. So we have content writers, all of the various different disciplines of people that you need, graphic designers, web developers, front end, the back end, everything you need for that. AdWords specialists, Meta, which is obviously Facebook and Instagram. TikTok now is a big thing, running ads on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, is like lead generation something that you always had? Like, I mean, lead generation for your business, so getting clients for the agency, was that something that you always relied on having in house, or did you actually ever had someone like outsourced to, like to other
No,
lead generation
no.
agencies
We probably get approached 3, 4 times a day about outsourcing
a
our
day?
services.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a day. And we always politely decline. There isn't really. The only thing I've ever outsourced is, like when you have an interpreter to do the content, in another language and stuff. Um, but everything we try to do in house, and sometimes we'll hire someone ourselves full time in the business if we feel that we're going to need that regularly. But no, it's really important to us that we keep it all in house.
Uh, I just want to know like your opinion on why is that like, but I feel like is it hard for someone else out of your culture to actually understand your business and your ICP as rather than just being a full-time member, or is it like for other reasons?
Um, it's not that. It's just that actually, when something works as well as it works, You don't want to, like, you imagine Gordon Ramsay. I'm sure
Yeah.
you're aware of as one of the best chefs in the world. He's got this amazing
Yeah,
recipe,
yeah, absolutely.
and all of a sudden, some old lady, or well, not just old lady, but some old lady in the restaurant says, "Oh, I think I can cook that dish much better than that," and goes over to the manager and says, "Oh, I want to speak to the head chef." And Gordon comes out. She says, "You're not putting enough cream in that. You're not doing this. You're not doing that." Um,
Yeah,
when you are all working together in the kitchen, you all agree this is how we're going to do it, and that's the team. When some outsider comes in, sometimes they have a different way of doing things, and that might not align with the team because the team have already decided that's how we're going to do it. And therefore, there's an incongruity of process. So it's not that they're a bad person or they wouldn't even be able to do it better. Sometimes they may be able to. It's just that sometimes it just doesn't work, and
yeah,
therefore it's not worth risking anything in terms of that person from outside being involved. Or it might not just
yeah,
be one person, it
absolutely.
could be a whole organization. So
Yeah,
at the moment, our process works because we all agree together. And sometimes we don't agree, but we come to an agreement.
yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Absolutely. Now, I feel like we've spoken like enough about the business side. I want to know, like, you as Jason on the personal life. What is something that you do maybe on a day-to-day basis or on a weekly basis, like in terms of interests or hobbies
Yeah,
that you actually want to enjoy yourself, and how do
yeah,
you think that has maybe impacted you as a founder?
yeah. I just live for my family, and my family is also my dogs. I've got two dogs. Um, I'm a dog
What kind of
person.
dogs?
I've got an Italian Mastiff who is
Mm.
nearly 60 kilos, and I've got a French
Oh,
Bulldog.
really?
So the two opposite ends of the
Two
spectrum.
opposites, completely
Yeah, yeah.
opposites.
Actually, this is my old Mastiff. He unfortunately died, but I'm going to show you a picture. That's the sort of dog that I've got,
Oh,
and
I'm sorry about that.
I've also got a French Bulldog. But yeah, I replaced the Mastiff because I couldn't live without a big dog in my life. And my family, like literally, I spend all my spare time with my family. I am so committed to everyone in my family getting involved in the business. We do things. My wife actually does some work for us. Even my son comes in from time to time to help. So yeah, I've got four boys. They're all
Nice.
popping their head in through the door from time to time. In fact, my eldest son works for one of my clients. So yeah,
Oh,
my
really?
family, and we are the main sponsor for Sutton United. It's a league football club
Mm-hmm.
in the UK. We're the main sponsor for them, and so tomorrow, Saturday, I'll be at the football club watching the match. I'm a Chelsea fan for my
Oh,
sins.
really?
I was actually born around that neck of the woods, so I do have an excuse. But yeah, I like football and stuff like that, and a little bit of gambling and horse racing.
Oh,
You can
really?
probably see pictures of horses in the
Oh, you like
background.
that?
Yeah, yeah. But
Nice, nice, perfect.
I normally like going to the races socially and having a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just to like make things more interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and food. Food is another big thing. I must admit I do know some of the best restaurants in London, mainly because I'm just a foodie.
I think when I come to London, I think I know who I should call for restaurants and
Kaltrin, you
everything,
should
right?
definitely come to some restaurants with me. You will be more than welcome,
Absolutely.
mate. Yeah, I know some of the best.
Awesome. It would be my pleasure. Awesome. So, Jason, I think that's a wrap from my side. I think it was a great, fun and insightful conversation. I just want to like ask if there is something that you might feel that we have not dived deep into, or anything
No,
that
I
you might.
really enjoyed myself. It's always nice to share the journey and anything else. So, you was a good interviewer. I enjoyed being on your podcast. Yeah, no, stay in touch, my friend. You're more than welcome to come and visit us anytime you come to the UK.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, once again, thank you very much for taking your time to share this very inspirational and insightful journey. So, I feel like everyone watching this have got some really valuable insights. So, thank you very much
Brilliant.
once again. It was my absolute
Perfect.
pleasure to
Nice to
meet
meet
with you.
you. You take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, mate.
Thank you, man. Take
Bye bye.
care.